Back to the Q&A. Today we're joined with Mod Jed.
Hey.
Mod Rock.
Hiya.
Mod Ed.
Hello.
Mod Kieran.
Hello.
Mod Ash.
Hello.
And myself, Mod Archie. We've also got Mod Ghost over there on the PC. We have 2 sneak peek of the weeks today. Do you want to tell them what you're going to be showing, Ash?
I'm going to show you the player in-house rearrangement menu.
All right, and Mod Ghost is going to show off the second raids boss, which you saw a little bit of last week, but as well as the third one. Yep, don't worry. Look forward to that. Probably about the halfway point and towards the end, but for the time being, we've got some questions. First one's from This Is Glenn, says, can we please have a month of client-only updates? So, which one of you works on the client?
Well, most of the client-related things would be done by Ian from the engine team, and to be honest, he is working all month anyway. Unfortunately, it does not turn into 4 weeks' worth of updates anywhere near the scale you guys might reasonably expect them to be. What he's been working on most recently, I'm quite excited about. He showed you previews a while back. It's the thing for scaling interfaces so that when you're playing on a big, fancy 4K monitor or whatever you have these days, you can actually read the text in resizable mode without having to squint or turn the resolution down manually.
He's even added half scale.
Yes, it's really good. So
which is
like
funny.
1.5 times, 2 times, etc. And to be honest, I'd like to see him get a chance to develop that to completion and launch it rather than stopping him to do yet more little stuff on the side, which is why you don't hear from him very often, but that's what he's currently working on, and it is looking shiny. He's put a lot of effort into scaling algorithms to make sure that the fonts, don't look all pixelated and kind of lame, because we don't want to give you something like that.
Specifically on the half scales, because if you've got 1 pixel, you can't have 1.5 pixels. So he's got to use a clever algorithm to make it look as it should.
Which is the kind of processing that could also be used in theory to do future things like anti-aliasing, a popular request that's come up a few times since we got resizable mode. That's not part of this, of course, but if you can get the scaling thing out, that'll be a very big improvement for, all of us, especially this first streaming, which we're doing.
Woo! All right. The next question is from Personal Lecturer, who says, can we submit a picture of our ID to be attached to our accounts and be used for the sole means of recovering the account?
How would that work exactly?
I think there is actual legal restrictions on things like this about data protection and stuff like that. It's quite awkward when it comes to those kind of things, so we'd have to send it through the legal team first.
Speaking to Modweth earlier, he said it'd be a cool idea, but way too complex. And he knows a lot more about this stuff than I do, so
So how would it work? Like, they send us a picture of their passport, and when they want to recover the account, they send us another one? That doesn't sound...
I would guess
good.
so. I'm not going to go ahead and ask however many 100,000 people to send us their ID. That sounds not fun.
Typically in these kind of cases, whether it's with companies like us and other companies that deal with money, you require proof of ID, proof of where you live, and often also a photo of yourself.
Yeah. So if we did, say, you sent us a picture of your passport, now send us another one when you want to recover your account, and they go and get a keylogger on their computer, then there's a reasonable chance that picture is going to be available to the person who's hijacked the computer as well. So I'd be cautious about
There's only one solution. You have to post your passport.
Yeah.
And then, now we're going too far,
deliver
right?
it personally.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not really a feasible thing, I think.
Let's go to the next question, because that's just not going to happen. Q Solar, I believe there is an image of this one. He says, could this fence at the Clockwork Tower be removed so that traveling from various places in the area doesn't require you to walk all the way around? So it's just a fence somebody put there so that you have to walk another 30 seconds. And it is probably about that 30 seconds, I would guess.
How often do you walk up that way? I don't think it's very often.
You never walk there again once you've got to that fence and realise, something we could potentially do. Depends, if there's enough of a call for it.
It's certainly not hard.
Does it take much effort to remove a fence?
No, it's a couple of clicks, hopefully.
I'm sure we can manage.
Yeah. Or if you want to do it stylishly, add a style.
You know what? That river also is annoying. Let's just delete the river, replace it all with one massive bridge. Much easier to get around.
All right, next question. St. Mask says, a few Q&As ago, you mentioned adding wieldable fishing tools to a store at Piscarilius, which would require 100% favor to use. Can we see this polled? Did we say we loved that idea and we'd love to pull it, or did we just think it was...
I don't even remember this idea.
We
Kinda
said
cool
wieldable
idea.
fishing tools wasn't going to be that hard to do. It's not like things like a hammer or a chisel, which is used in gazillions of quest places all over the place. There's not that much code referring to fishing rods and fly fishing rods and harpoonage.
I think it was more around the case that they've already got the barbed tail harpoon.
Yeah.
So it would make sense for them to have the other versions to do all of fishing with a wieldable as opposed to just one little bit.
Yeah, and like I say, the code ain't going to be that bad a problem.
Yeah, and Piscarilius seems a reasonable place to give it.
So would we like to pull that then? Do you think?
Potentially in future, if there's enough demand.
I'm
Sure.
seeing it. I'd also be up for someone not me programming it, but it's not
If we
hard.
get
It's just
another
boring.
A lot
batch
of the
of quality
different
of
fishing
life
spots
stuff
have
out.
different codes, so it is quite a lot to go through.
The good thing
Not
is, if you do
small
a
one.
search for fishing rod, you do find all the code you want and not a huge number of other things. Like
Yeah.
if you search for hammer, you find all manner of stuff that isn't what you're looking for.
Ronan, do you want to scroll down the chat? We can't see latest chat. More messages below. Click it.
Sorry. I was listening
right.
to the stream back on.
Oh gosh, they've said something sensible.
Let's go to the next question.
Still spamming.
Okay, Goff says, can we have an official word on teaming and last man standing? So we said it the week of launch. We said it last week, I believe, as well. Teaming isn't allowed. It's something we do take action on, and we have been taking action on. I think there's been a noticeable difference. People who do it learn they can't do it. That's all there really is to it. It's not allowed, is the official statement. If you do see anybody doing it, report them for disruptive behavior or send me video footage through Twitter. That'll be a little bit more convenient for me, but happens regardless. There you go.
There's a reasonable chance we might add a teaming mode in future.
It's something we can look at. There's a lot of stuff we can look at.
I had
with the
Matt come
minigame.
over asking me how feasible it will be to adapt the code I wrote for the raids grouping system to let you have a private last man standing thing for just your chat channel, so that you all go and play with each other rather than playing with random people.
Even going in with duos would be really cool, I think.
Yeah, duo lobby is something we could potentially look at in the future.
Split the profit between the both of you, I guess, at the end there.
Last couple standing, like some kind of dance off.
All right, next question. Tama Katam says, can the new blessings have added effects when equipped with their corresponding god books? He says Sarah and Gothic's books could have better effects as well. They're underwhelming.
Any idea? Any suggestions for what the effects could be?
Well, I saw this and I thought the two blessings that we have that don't have any affinity for God Wars would certainly be available for this. Because other than that, they're just a cheap +1 prayer bonus.
Yeah.
So if you were to have, it's the Gothics and Zaros.
Yeah.
Gothic's and Sarah are both kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, but you have the Sarah Blessing that gives you access to Sarah
Right,
God
right.
Wars items, so it's already got something with it. The other two don't, other than the prayer bonus.
Gothic's, at least it's a little bit of everything, but yeah, it's still pretty bad. You're gonna go with something else if you can.
I mean, there is one concern with them, and that the blessings are in your quiver slot, so they're not visible to other players. And often players would like to actually see what you're wearing, that's to know how powerful you're going to be. And if the blessing is invisible but provides some extra effect if you're wearing the book as well, then you wouldn't necessarily know that they've got it.
It would, of course, be nice if we could make the blessing visible. Now, the trouble is that we are, well, out of visible worn slots. While we can expand the worn inventory with a mere huge amount of work, getting another slot to become visible is something that only the engine team could do. And just now, that's not something we're going to get out of them, especially while Ian's still on that resize of Windspace thing.
And yeah, this would be, it's asking for a buff to both, of course. You'd have to be wielding both, but if you're looking for a buff to the book separately, this wouldn't apply to that. You'd need the blessing as well.
If we can get some suggestions for effects of what they could do, we could certainly look into it.
Definitely. All right, Versace says, can the heavy ballista be addressed? So, we were talking about this earlier, myself, Ronan, and Jed, and as somebody who has a 99 range pure and uses the ballista quite frequently, I can say it's extremely overpowered, and not just for pures. Going up to even the main combats, honestly, it's the delay that gets you. It's the delay that leads into the Granite Maul. It's seriously good in PvP. So we're looking at options to give it a bit of a nerf in that sense. Not necessarily the damage, but possibly taking away that delay, because that's not on anything else in the game, and
I think the delay is the way
quite
to go.
problematic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Certainly.
just to kind of expand on what it is that's the delay, it's the issue comes from the fact that you see your XP drop a long time before you actually even do the attack animation. And so you know to go for your Gmaul spec like way in advance.
We wanted it to be good, and there was definitely a gap for it, and it filled it, but then it filled more, and we realized, okay, we made it way too good. It's kind of the go-to in a lot of
Even
cases.
without the delay, it should still be a really good
It is
spec
extremely
weapon.
good
Like,
still, yeah.
It hits about as hard as an AGS for range. We just don't need that long delay that allows you to actually react to what damage you're going to do.
And
The funny thing is that the XP doesn't have to be awarded as early as it is. That's the kind of thing I'd be very reluctant to change, because people actually like being able to see what damage they're about to do.
Right.
But it's not something that would be impossible to change if the players ever decided there was a weapon that they wanted it to work differently on.
it's got a really long animation that goes with it, but
There was a job in the system for Gareth to maybe redesign that.
just
How
go with
about
that.
we only give the XP as a toll at the end of a kill? You add up all the XP for the damage you've done in that kill, and then you get it in one chunk.
Classic.
Sounds like no issues there at all. Let's do it right now.
In addition, in case you're still wondering, well, that still doesn't make any sense. Jed made a good point. To compare it to the AGS requires 75 attack, which means you're going to need a high strength level, which is going to push you up higher combat. Whereas with 99 range, you can be quite low level. I don't know what, like 67 or something for 99 range, 1 def pure, somewhere down low there. So yeah. Next question. Teammate Hype says, right now the Crafting Guild bank can only be accessed with the Fallyhard Diary complete. Could the bank be changed that it can also be accessed with 99 crafting?
I like that idea. Is it similar to the Cooking Guild?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Cooking
yeah,
Guild
sounds
does
like
that,
Cooking Guild.
doesn't
The
it?
Crafting Guild does not. It would appear that when people write things at different times, especially when that developer wrote things at different times, you don't always get some predictable behaviour.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I think worthy of a poll.
I think that's a very worthy thing to do.
Sure. Got some support. So there we go, the teaming in Last Man Standing. Soulstarter says, can we get the ability to set up private team LMS games with the ability to change settings like the Duel Arena?
So we touched upon that a little bit, I think, with the team lobbies. As for setting up your game like Duel Arena,
Right.
the way that Last Man Standing has been made, that wouldn't really be an easy thing to implement.
Could you do like things like no overheads or?
With a bit of rewriting, yes. It depends how much time we want to put into it.
Yeah.
I think at some point, if we end up with more maps, a setting to choose which map if they're going into a private game would probably be a reasonable thing.
And we do intend to end up with more maps. In fact, we were talking about inviting maps from the players, quite apart from Tutorial Island.
There was a really good suggestion on Reddit, actually, for a wilderness-themed map earlier. And they went all the extent with all the spawn points pointed out and the chests and everything. I thought it was really good.
Was
Yeah.
it one map square?
I think it was pretty small.
I've already started actually speaking to the person who designed that, so giving us some pointers about what we addressed when we were looking at maps and things like that. So I think he does intend to go away and perhaps edit what he's done, because it was made it circular as opposed to perhaps making the use of all the map squares that we've got.
Yeah, I think
So-
what's good as well, someone sent me one that was done in like pixel art form, where one pixel was one tile, and through doing that, we can actually map it a lot easier on our end, and also you can see how well balanced it is, things like distance between spawns and chests, things like that. So if you are going to do one, if you could do it in a kind of pixel art form, that'd be really nice.
That's a good idea, yeah.
We also did discuss two maps in between us while we were designing Last Man Standing. One being the Clan Wars map, and another being Tutorial Island, and editing that to make it work for Last Man Standing. Because Lord knows how many people like the idea of going back to Tutorial Island.
Yeah.
Brutally murdering each other on it.
Thing is,
That'd be fun.
with these maps, if you do plan on creating one and sending it our way, that's cool and all, but just keep in mind, Last Man Standing is as big as it possibly gets, and people still say it's a little too small. So if you are going to make something like circular, for example, and try to waste a little space with the corners, that'll be tiny.
Well, Tutorial Island is small.
Would it be 128 by 128 if it's a pixel
It's
per
128 by
tile?
128, yes.
Yeah.
And of course, we do have 4 vertical levels.
That's true.
All right. Let's go to the next question then. Rosali says, can you let us alch with the Explorer's Ring Elite without being on the normal spellbook? Says he'd like to use it on a Slayer task, for example, while he's on Lunars.
For what it's worth, what we had in other RuneScape when that was done was a menu that it opened that you clicked on to output things on the menu. Now, that was fine, except that when we did the change to alchemy for Old School, where you can stack up a spell behind the one you're casting at the moment, it's using queued scripts to be the delay system for that. And if there's going to be an interface open, then the queued scripts can't work very effectively. So we'd have to find a way of rewriting that delay system to let it work on its own interface. Either that, or it becomes the kind of interface that doesn't shut when you walk, so it just replaces your side panel rather than being in the middle of your screen. I never liked it in the middle of the screen anyway, so maybe that's the way to go.
Maybe if you just use the ring on use the ring on things.
The trouble with using the ring on things is that since so many items have a upheld U trigger, we'd have to either find and tie into every single one of them, or wait till we've got the interface working in a different format and tie in more globally, which we'd be able to do then, but we can't now.
Yeah, that's a shame. We could do things using on the ring, but not the other way around.
That's right. I actually used it for the rotten potato cheats when you use stuff on that. I made it work both ways round in RS3.
All right. Go to the next question then. Sharknado says, can you... Sorry, I think he means... I probably typed this wrong. Can we be prevented from using the world hopper if it would result in us being logged out for too much world hopping? He's saying, can we get an in-game message instead saying, you're switching worlds too much, please wait a little bit?
Might need some help from the engine team to be able to get the exact check right, because it's not something we can recreate in scripts accurately at the moment.
Okay. AOG Barbarian says, a few suggestions here to improve Barbarian Assault. There was a lot, actually. I just grabbed a few. So, first suggestion, adding clues to the drop table. What do you guys think?
There's been a lot of people complaining recently that we've been adding clues to too many things, so we're
definitely
cautious of starting to do things like that.
Add them to the gambles if we...
Yeah, that's what it'd be.
Would add them.
New item, I think this is a kind of cool idea called the Omega Helm, combining the stats of all 4 of the helms into one.
Can we not just cut the top off the Omega egg that you have to use to kill the boss with and just plonk it on there?
Probably do that.
That would be so ugly.
Yes.
What do you guys think? Would that be overpowered?
You
don't really see those helms used.
The helms are not too useful.
The fighter hat is
helm's got a good
good,
stab
yeah.
bonus, but the others are not very good at all.
All right. I think that's a cool idea. Wieldable Omega Egg as a cosmetic item. It's an interesting idea. I mean, it's cosmetic.
Not a huge fan of cosmetics.
No, all right.
Having just an egg sitting on your head would be interesting.
Legs to match the torso. Give the legs 6-packs.
I'm pretty sure there are penance legs, but they're not very good.
To match the torso, though, cosmetically, I
Yeah.
think. I don't know if they'd give a strength bonus, obviously. There's a bunch of suggestions. What do you guys think? Does Barbarian Assault need a drop table or...
I think it needs some new rewards added.
Yep.
It's been suggested we could do stuff with the existing rewards rather than looking for an excuse to stick an egg on your head.
Yes, there's also improvements we can make with that. There's potential we'll look at a mini-game refresh at some point, and adding rewards to Barb Assault would be...
Yeah.
Or tweaking rewards to Barb Assault would be definitely part of that.
The helm idea is cool.
Players are, of course, welcome to send in ideas for what they'd like put on Barb Assault, and maybe things that we could do to the existing items it gives, rather than necessarily more cosmetics.
How would people feel if you actually got combat XP in Barb Assault?
I think the fact that you're forced into using defensive.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair enough reason.
Yeah. It was suggested to me the other day as something we could just toggle for people whether they wanted it or not, which, not entirely easy, that one, but
Yeah,
we could probably find a way.
All right.
I've actually spent the last few days, for the most part, going over some long-standing Barb Assault bugs and making some simple quality of life improvements there. There's a couple of things on the poll as well that hopefully should make your life better.
Yes, while Kieran was fixing bugs with the end of wave, he was able to untangle the code enough to be able to offer that quick start option that's being polled at the moment. Rather impressive.
All right. Moving on, Miwi has a question here about Last Man Standing, saying, can the whip sell for more than 5 tokens? Saying people can grief their opponents. Say you're in a fight with somebody, you realize well, I'm going to lose amount of food. I'm not going to let this guy get my whip. I'm going to sell it. He only gets 5 tokens, doesn't get the whip. That really sucks. I agree entirely. I think the price should be raised. Maybe suggest 15 tokens. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
much?
I mean, there's players already finding new ways to grief each other, so if they can send us them as it happens, then we can address it. That's definitely one.
We'll cover the other ways in a little bit. I've got a few more last-minute setting questions, but as for raising the price that the whip sells for, I think that's probably
I think 15 sounds like a fair price as well.
What's that's going to? That's going to be like a decent amount of food, maybe a couple of prayer potions. It's not going to be, giving you a massive
It's
boost.
much
Does
less
that
than
mean
5.
we would also raise the price of the AGS? Not that anyone would intentionally sell it, but
What does the AGS sell
10.
for? 10.
May as well, if we're going to
I don't
change
know.
this.
Yeah,
but then,
I guess so. Who
how
would sell
rare
the
is that?
AGS?
I don't think people are.
Should probably
It's a
do
tricky
that.
issue.
Yeah,
It
you know what?
really
For the
is.
sake of if I get an AGS and someone's going to kill me and I don't want him to have it, I'm going to sell it.
You're still going to sell it though. It's just what he'll get back out of it. He's never going to get another AGS.
have we released the rates for the AGS
We
yet?
have not. No.
They suggested the number 73. Can't think why.
Do you want to announce that rate or not?
I think
Can do
it's
it now?
a nice secret. I don't know.
I think it's just very rare isn't nice enough.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you're going to make me upset because I probably looted like a million chests. Probably about 500 at this point. I haven't gotten it yet, so I would imagine you probably put it at
I think I
1
can
in
confirm that you can't get
2K.
it in the first 2 minutes of the game. So if you have keys, save them.
Okay. All right, anyways, next question. Let's go. Donation says, could the seed box also be given an empty option in the bank interface, similar to the ones in the herb sack and gem bag?
Ash has just done that this week.
And Ed has very kindly tested it.
Awesome.
Did it pass testing?
It passed. Well,
Well,
it
he
did have
wants
to
it to
go
work
back for a little
differently.
thing, but then it passed.
Well, I made the empty option in the bank work like the one in your inventory, and Ed suggested that people might prefer it to bank the seeds rather than emptying them into your inventory, so
Oh, yeah.
it now does.
That makes sense.
Okay. Kyle Hopkins says, can we see a special attack for the trident? So suggestion is to have it like the dark bow with a minimum damage double hit, taking 70% spec. Of course, this would only be used for PVM. But do you guys think it'd
Get
be the
enough
first
people.
ever magic spec? I think, aside from Staff of the
The
Dead,
issue
which doesn't
comes with
count.
minimum damage that if you have enough people, you will one-hit something. If you can get enough people
That's
to
That's
PV
fun
and
though.
Good
Like
point.
at the co-op when
The
you
dark
have
bow's already there doing that, though, right? I mean,
True.
you get several hundred people to the co-op and you all debo spec.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's worth mentioning that the Trident is already really good. And it's pretty cheap to use as well.
that's true. Okay, that's that. Smog says, thoughts on a new currency for Zaya similar to the Zar Tokol, however you say that. Ability to buy things from the Zaya shops for a reduced cost than coins. Basically, currency could only be earned through gaining favor, killing monsters in Zaya, or skilling on Zaya.
So he wants 2 currencies available in each shop, basically.
Yes.
I can't imagine this being a popular idea.
So it's
And
we're
as
just,
well as the fact most players
it
have
doesn't
already got all the
popular idea.
favour.
Right.
just going to start merging how Zar works with Tybor 1A and just see what happens. Wouldn't really work, would it?
The fence will catch fire.
We'll replace all gold in the game with trading sticks.
All right, a lot of please no's in the chat. We'll do it. Lore Master RS, I think there might be an image for this one, says, could we see the implementation of silver jewelry that uses semi-precious gems? So a lot of suggestions for this one here. I don't know. Wow.
We can't read
Did make
them.
it fit. Nice one.
But
So there's a lot of suggestions. I'm going to tackle a few of my favorites just off the top of the heads here. So basically this will be using the opal, jade, and red topaz, which are currently not used.
Opal.
Oh my god, everything's said differently here. Whatever.
Sorry.
Are you my pal?
So Dodgy Necklace is the first one, providing 25% chance
Dodgy
to prevent a failed pickpocket for stunning or damaging you. I mustn't be the only one that says opal.
On this sofa, I think you are.
Get out of
That's a
here.
thing over.
There were some Americans in the office the other day. We were relating about how we say things differently. It was nice. Okay, Dodgy Necklace provides 25% chance to prevent a failed pickpocket from stunning or damaging you. Yeah, I'm just going to list through a few of these. All right. Amulet of Agility, 25% chance to prevent failure from an agility obstacle. Ring of Returning provides an arrow that points to your death tile on the minimap. I think that's a great idea. I love that. Sometimes it's difficult finding your fire cape or something. Necklace of Passage teleports you to Wizard's Tower, the outpost south of the desert, Eagle's Eyrie. Bracelet of Chemistry provides 1 in 10 chance to save the tertiary ingredient while making a potion, etc. There's a lot there. You guys can read.
So these things eat the gems as they go. I think
They
it's
all degrade.
Good.
Yeah. There's one that's somewhat similar to a recoil, and it's like they degrade like that and to dust. And I really like this idea. I think there is a lot of potential in there. Maybe some of the ideas need tweaks, but to be honest, a lot of them are really good. They're useful
is-
and not overpowered.
Going to be made like other jewellery, so would there need to be new spells to enchant them? And
There
if
would need to
so,
be new spells.
Where
and
would they go?
People were talking about how they would like fit on the Arceus spellbook. And I think that'd be a good idea as well.
Yeah.
So essentially
is-
you would have silver alternatives to gold jewellery.
This
and you'd
jewelry is
receive
very
gems.
cheap, and so is silver, is my only concern. So, unless
Gives
you
it
make the
more
spell
value.
really expensive.
something we've always wanted to do, really, in terms of rune sinks.
And we might see the prices going up.
Right.
With this.
Maybe just a lot of runes per each spell then. Cool.
Oh, look, the price of silver's going up.
Panic buy all of it.
I think this is it's just a really solid piece of content and
Yeah.
provides some use that a lot of items that have currently basically no use.
I agree with Kieran saying some of the ideas definitely seem a little scary OP maybe in some instances, but some of them seem like they have a really nice use, so cool. Dixon says, can we please get Uri's hat / the double agent's hat as a clue reward? I can't freaking read today. The double agent drop table. We got there.
I once was a poor man and then I found a party hat.
Yes, quite.
Okay.
Everyone says strange things on this sofa.
I don't know how you say his name. We're just getting roasted today.
Well, okay
I'm
with-
the only one in the world that says Opal. I can't believe I've never said Opal. Like, never. When have you ever needed to say Opal?
That probably
When
says
I-
a lot
when
about
I
how often we
use
update
the
these
jewelry.
gems.
You don't say it out loud, though.
Do you not think?
Do you not think? All right.
Yes, so the bowler hat, right?
Yeah.
I rather like that, you know, if you kill the Aviancy guard or the Bandos guard in those other treasure trails that we did a couple of years back, you've got a 1 in a million chance of getting something cool. I wouldn't go quite that rare again with this silly hat, but I like the idea that it's worth hoping for something when
Yeah.
you kill them.
Yeah.
I'm almost surprised we don't already have it as a clue reward, to be honest.
Could we make it? What else did you make? Incredibly, it was the Onyx in Motherlode Mine, wasn't it? What was the drop rate on that?
That's like
1 in 32,000
1 in
or
a
something.
million or something.
Can we do that?
I don't think anyone's got one yet. We have an error to output.
Really?
To output our logs when someone does get one, and I haven't seen one.
Let's do that again? Or
I
is
don't
that
think we
too
should make
mean?
it too rare.
No?
I
I
think-
wouldn't do it with this hat.
I think this hat should be fairly reasonable. I'd like to see this one actually come in the game.
Do we have his briefcase?
Yeah.
We have a
Oh, we
briefcase.
have a brief.
We
Yeah,
have a fancy
I'd definitely
motor
have for
ball.
that hat.
1 in 2.5 million.
But the thing is, with the Onyx and the Armadillo helmet and
Yeah.
Bando's boots, they are existing items obtainable by other sources.
And
so-
worth having.
Yeah. But
I
bowler
like
hat,
the idea of it being really rare. I don't know.
I'm certainly up for making it a really rare thing.
Still wouldn't be as rare as that Crack the Clue helmet.
Well, that's not
No one's
rare.
gonna get
You're
that.
guaranteed to get it. You've just got to work out how.
Okay. Cool idea regardless. We'd like to do it, I think.
Ooh, plot twist.
Let's go to the next question. Univeral says, can you guys pull making skill cape hoods attachable to skill capes? I actually wanted to ask Mod Ghost over there, how much time do you think it would take you to throw on hoods to all of the skill capes?
How many skill? Because you've got trimmed ones as well, haven't you?
Yes.
So there's around 50 of those. Would they want them added to the achievement diary cape and all the other capes of achievement, or
Yeah.
just the skill capes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So add a few more there. So we've got around 60 capes. So say if it took me 15 minutes per cape, half an hour for the initial model, it's just that'd take 60 times 15 if we've got a calculator to hand.
I'm not going to do it.
16 times.
950.
Yeah,
Don't
alright.
really have the
15.
model for male
Some of them NPCs have.
It would take about 2 days to 3 days modelling wise.
2 to 3 days worth.
2 to 3 days, yeah.
Thing is, that's not obviously going to take priority over stuff he's doing right now, which is raids bosses, which is a little bit cooler.
From a dev side, it's a big job if we want the player to be able to take them off and put them back on. I mean, it would be easier if we literally just get rid of all HUDs and you have to have it attached to your kit, but I'm not keen, I don't want to offer it like that. Because I can't imagine that'd be popular.
I wish to goodness the developer had done that back in,
Yeah.
07 when they came out.
It'd have made it easier.
A lot of not worth it. It's a lot of saying just do it. Drop everything, do it. It's probably one to keep in the back end there, but unfortunately, I wish we had more artists.
It's definitely a request that we get all the time, but I just think that it hasn't got the weight behind it, and we could be spending our time doing something else.
It doesn't have the weight, guys. Petition.
Should
I
we
think
poll
Mod
it?
West is keen on it.
100,000 votes.
Should we just poll it in another poll sometime?
The question is when will we have time to do it, though?
We could be spending those 3 days on a schedule that we've already got planned to do. So
We'll keep it.
I guess
In
the question would be how much they want it compared to anything else they might want. I mean, if the question is, would you like this, yes or no, then players will have a strong incentive to say yes because, well, it doesn't do them much harm, especially if it's optional, unless they really object to seeing other people wandering around the world dressed like that.
Should we? Let's gather a little sentiment here. So, can we straw poll this? Ronan? Sure. Let's just see how badly you guys really want it. This is hoods to be attachable on skill capes, including quest cape, achievement diary cape, etc.
I mean, from a dev perspective, there's the trimmed version as well. We've got to write all the code for attaching and unattaching HUDs. And then any part of the code that uses those skill capes, such as all the skill cape perks, would need to be rewritten a little bit to work with a new cape.
And then there's what the cape rack does.
Oh god, that is scary. Because I know that's...
What happens when you die with it? Does it detach or stay attached?
Whoa, what's
Ronan.
RS Chronicle doing here?
Signed in with the wrong Twitch.
I hope we're streaming from the right Twitch.
Ronan, Matt's watching. Stop. All right, guys, go ahead and vote on that. Let's go to the next question while we wait for
Go away,
that.
Matt. If you're not going to show up, you can get away from the chat as well.
I just made a good point here saying we could charge a bit for adding the hood, making a nice money sink. So there you go. All right, we've got the results already. Look at that. 71%.
Less than expected.
Yeah, that's a fair amount. I can see some people understanding the amount of time it would take away from other things they might want.
Yeah. And that's with essentially this is a toggle.
Right.
So
Gotta have a toggle.
Okay, let's go to the next question then. Housebrand says, can we see another use to redwood logs? He's saying, I'd like to request them to be worked into construction.
Isn't there a redwood thingy in the forthcoming construction?
something uses a redwood log.
Something uses a redwood log, just one.
Exactly.
I don't know if it uses one, but it uses redwood logs perhaps. But I mean, I'd certainly be open to. I mean,
It'd be a plank. by
with
any
construction, we now have the ability to have more hotspots in a room and a lot more things on each hotspot.
So what we need is, in one of the rooms, pile of redwood logs.
Just put it out in the
you
garden.
can just put
You
them
can
up.
fuel the
Log pile.
fireplace.
But
Got it.
in the poll, I believe we do have something about getting more arrow shafts from different logs as well.
We do.
So that will mean that redwood logs will also grant fletching XP if you choose to use them that way.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've now got scope for some time in the future to actually add redwood planks and add a lot more furniture to your houses.
Has anyone rewritten that blasted sawmill code?
Just
I
a
know
little
we've
bit.
all been in there
We've all
trying to fix that
altered it
diary
slightly, trying not to fully rewrite it, but
Well, we've all tried to fix that diary bug for about a year. I
Yeah.
think you managed it.
I think it's done now. But I managed it in a hacky way.
I believe you. I also
Okay.
understand why the original developer had trouble with it. Sorry to carry on.
That's all right. We're a little bit past the halfway mark here, so I'd like to show something off. Change things up a little bit. Mod Ghost, how you feeling? Do you want to wait till the end of the stream, or
Let's let Ash do
Yeah.
this. I think playing fun.
do you want to
Okay.
head over?
I'll go over there then.
Sure. I'm gonna ask a question, I think, while we wait for Ash to get set up. So where are we at here? Not Corey says, can we see clue nests added to the wilderness ents?
Yes, please. I would like to do that.
That's a cool idea.
Just the wilderness or the ones underneath the
Just the
guild
wilderness one, I
Just the
think.
wilderness ones.
Yeah.
Adds incentive for PKing, of course, but does it feel weird just doing the wilderness ones, or?
Well,
I
they,
think
There's
they give
already
double
a
logs
difference
as well.
between them, isn't there? So
Okay.
Yeah, that, I really
Still
like
give
that
me
idea.
the old pal thing. Get over here. How are we looking? Yeah, let's go over to Modash then.
Have fun.
Hello. Well, there was a camera pointing at me. What do you think I was going to do? Anyway, so for the construction updates, we've got 2 new rooms coming up. And with new rooms coming up, especially one with a teleport destination in it, the Spirit Tree and Fairy Ring room, we wanted to give you the option of rearranging your house so that you could put the teleport thing somewhere convenient for you. And of course, rearranging a house is what you might call expensive because the whole thing works around demolishing rooms and building them again somewhere else and then remaking all the furniture. So I've been having a go at making that no longer be the case. So here is a house, not a very big one, got quite a few rooms, staircases, combatty rooms and such like. Yay, teleport cheats. And I'm going to try rearranging it a bit. So what we have in here is a new button and it opens the house viewer menu. Right, so on the house viewer we see what all the various rooms are. The little sprites represent their the positions of the hotspots so that you see a chapel and you can see which way round it is, like where the carpet is, where the altar is at the far end. And a little tooltip to say what you've currently got built in there. Quite a lot apparently in these rooms. I must have inherited this account from some other testing job. So that you can see what you've got in all your various rooms. You can see what's upstairs, and it also lets you see what's underneath them because on the floors below, because that might be handy for you, especially if you want to, say, add a room. In fact, yeah, that's oh, I don't know. Anyway, let's try rearranging the house a little bit. So here I have a parlour with nothing in it. Let's put something in it to at least make it look like an interesting demo. Give cloth 4, give gold leaf, and we shall have an opulent rug. Ain't that nice? Now, if I want to put that upstairs, we shall see a nice place to put it upstairs. I've got a corner here between this room and one diagonally opposite, so I want to move my parlour. Fine, on the viewer, I find the parlour. It contains an opulent rug, yay! And I will move it to here. Right, so now you've got a little pulsating yellow thingy to show you that it's a preview of where the room might turn up. I think we'll have it this way round. For what it's worth, on this little display, the red bars indicate which way the doors can match. So at the top you can see there's a little red line to indicate there's a door up there, but we haven't got one, so it's dark. If, on the other hand, we rotate it, then we do have a match, so it shows that. And when we're done, we say done. And upstairs, this hasn't actually been tested yet very much, but here, hey, yep, we got my parlour the way round I asked for with a fancy rug, because you've got to have a fancy rug. Oh, they like it, yay! Thank you. Now then, let's try something a bit more complicated. So here, I've got a staircase, and the staircase links 2 of these halls. Oh, KVD heads there, adamant armour there, and in the basement, Naffle. And they're all linked by a staircase. So let's see what we can do with that on the viewer. So here's my staircase in the basement. Let's move it over there and rotate it. I'm I'm not quite sure where it's going to put me now. I might end up by the portal, unless it could find somewhere nice to put me. Oh, it found somewhere nice to put me. Oh, in a room with a dragon. Right, well, that aside, let's go see where my room ended up now, shall we? So that's now over here with the nothing in the basement and the KBD heads now on that side because we rotated as we went. And up here we've got the adamant armor now facing that way because, again, we rotated as we went. Let's do another one and bridge the top floor. So let's have the games room. And we'll move the games room upstairs to here. And let's see, we want to rotate it so its doors all match up with the rooms on either side. So we'll do that. Yep, the red bars are fat. So we will have that. Gotta have fat red bars. And now here it is, games room linking my two halls so that whatever the heck this was trying to be. Right, so that's moving rooms. I could do this all day, you know. In fact, I did it quite a lot last night. And let's try adding a room, that would be good. Okay, in the dungeon, I could probably do with a corridor around here, so I will give myself a dungeon corridor. And I will have it that way round, done. And it takes the money from my inventory. Checks the required levels and everything. I wasn't born yesterday. And we shall hopefully find down in the basement I have a nice room in my dungeon where previously there wasn't one. Okay, well I think that gives you the idea. Hope you like it. It's going into testing now really because the programming for all this seems to be working as far as I can tell. Otherwise I wouldn't dare show it off in front of you lot on a live stream. And we'll see what mods Rock and Ed make of that over the coming days. Thank you. Back to the sofa, I think.
Quite phenomenal.
Right. You just won the Twitch chat. Mod Ghost has a tough act to follow. It's a competition. It is.
We're a team.
Well, it's all different, like that's programming. He is going to show something actually creative.
Yeah, I hope you're not expected to program.
Well, if you're trying to merge down your own streams, you really are.
Part of me is really excited to test that because it's something I want as a player as well. But then the other part of me is like, the whole thing that's happened is rather daunting from a testing perspective.
I see your point. I mean, trying to work out what the rules are for how staircases work in a POH. I spent quite a long time just walking around the live game, building stairs, deleting stairs, trying to see where a room goes if you build stairs at a funny angle, and trying to work out how existing houses do it all, so that I could try to recreate it fairly accurately, only in a couple of places. I think there's actually a bug or two in there, and I'm going to try and fix them while I'm about it, I think.
It's a nightmare just building stairs as a player.
I know Mod John C is very interested in this as well because he tested the last constructions. So he plans to be there beside me making sure that his previous testing and all of this basically rolls into one.
Won't that be nice for you?
All right. We don't have a whole lot of time left. I'm going to save Mod Ghost segment for the end there, so we're going to tackle as many questions as I can. I'm going to get the most relevant ones this week, save whatever I can for next week, because there's no way I'm going to get through all these questions. Right, last man standing. Obviously, there were some updates that came out today. A lot of you guys love them. There's still a couple things to address, however. So let's do this question here from Goku. I'm jumping around, sorry, running. Can you address prayer flicking in last man standing? So, what do you think, Mod Jed? Can you fix prayer?
We can address it, but it depends how many players would be happy with the solution we choose to take. So to stop prayer flicking and to focus on prayer switching, we could perhaps give players unlimited prayer, or just give them a lot more prayer potions, things like that. But I'm not sure that's something the players want. The ones who can flick well at the moment know they have a big advantage over other players, and it's not something they want to get rid of, essentially.
It is very much something where we can't possibly please the entire community. It's this chunk, and then you've got this chunk over here that just wants prayer gone as a whole, and you got people saying, well, we had the initial idea of actually giving them 99 prayer from the start and then not letting them get prayer potions, so they would have had to make that last the entire game, and if they lost it, that's it, it's gone. There's a whole bunch of
there's
Different
so
things
many
to take
upsides and
care of,
downsides to every possibility that we had. That
I think in the end of the day, we're probably best off leaving it how it is.
I'm seeing a lot of yes prayer, no prayer, remove prayer, no overheads, screw prayer.
It's all split in turmoil. Perfect.
I feel a straw poll might be in order.
No prayer means it's even more RNG based, which
I think
I'm not keen on.
means smaller hits as well, but then if we give unlimited prayer, everyone's going to have overheads, and you can imagine the defense bonus
Longer
from piety
fights as
coming
well.
through. So it's
Yeah.
a tricky one.
It's very tricky.
Yeah, the straw poll is probably the best way to go at the moment.
No prayer means more RNG based. Unlimited prayer means longer fights, more boring, less skill based still. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, starting them on 99, people who can flick and are currently managing to make that 10 last a whole game at the moment.
Well,
will
they get
be able
smited
to make
still,
them-
though.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
yeah,
I think it's obviously infinite prayer makes like useless. There's no benefit to that. People will have prayer always, and you're going to have such low hits. It's
yeah.
difficult. There's
It's
going to be
tough.
a much more focus on hybriding, I'd imagine, if prayer was infinite.
I like it how it is right now, and I'm crap at prayer flicking, but I still think it's probably the most balanced it can be right now. It's not perfect in the sense of prayer. I don't think we can possibly perfect it for everybody. So we'll see what you guys think of the straw poll, though. Go ahead and vote. In the meantime, never mind, we've got results already. Quick straw polls. What is your preference for prayer and last man standing? Number 1 is no overheads. That means no prayer, I'm assuming, and not just no overheads.
Very close with none of the above.
I'm thinking that the reason we're probably going to avoid no overheads is that it takes away a large factor of skill from the minigame, and as much as it might not be pleasant to pray flick,
Yeah.
if we're going to remove that element of skill, we need to
Right.
find a way to replace it. Otherwise, it takes a lot away from the game in terms of how much depth it has.
That being said, the second majority, which is very close, is none of the above, which I'm going to assume, because we didn't give it an option, is keep it how it is now. Which again seems like the logical solution, so that's kind of reassuring.
I can just see them enjoying that toggle menu bit wherever possible.
Yeah.
Well,
No overheads is very
get rid
interesting,
of prayer
though.
altogether is also included in none of the above.
That's true too. Yeah. Okay. One we can continue looking at, but for the time being, I think it's best staying. All right. Next question then. What about when people don't fight in the final? So we see this. The last 5 people get to the end. They don't want to fight because everybody looks intimidating. Nobody wants to waste their gear. If you take the first fight, you're pretty much guaranteed at least second place at best, unless you're really stacked. So typically, you don't want to do that. We've got a couple ideas there. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so one of the ones that we discussed was a special type of key that you would get if you kill someone in the top 5. And this key would restore prayer, hit points, run energy, whatever you get at the moment.
Potentially special attack. Is that possible?
We could do special attack, and it could also give you guaranteed food so that you've not just kind of lost your chance at winning.
Would it be called the Bloody Key?
That's what it was, they call it the name.
Yeah. The top 5 guys are the best guys. It makes sense that one of their keys does better than
I
one of
think
the new
this is a
keys
good
start.
idea.
Yeah,
That's
so
a
that
good
gives you an
solution.
incentive to actually fight. You know, you're not sacrificing your supplies for nothing. Yeah. That's one option. Another one was to give damage to players. So if we had an even amount of players left at the end, if they weren't in combat, we'd be dealing damage to them.
Kind of like how it is in the fight pits.
Yeah,
if
the
you stay
risk
too
of
long.
that though just comes down to people will probably box to get around it.
It's
so I do
against the
prefer
rules. That is
keys.
teaming. If you do it, you're going to get in trouble. Don't do it.
Yeah,
The key gives you a reason to actually want to fight because there's something to gain from doing it.
yeah.
The idea is obviously if there's 3, let's just say there's 3 people left at the end. Right now, you want to be the person that's not fighting.
People saying Dragon Claws, no. But what we can offer is potentially a higher chance at AGS, for example.
Yeah, that key at the end can have a completely custom drop table.
If you get more back from that key than you spend in that fight.
I think it should be close
a
to
good
about what you spent in the fight, reasonably, but it depends. That could be your whole inventory, it could be 5 food, you know. So definitely making the keys better. I really like that idea. The damage damage coming in when people aren't fighting, another option. Yeah, there's stuff we can do. All right, what about ladders? Do you want me? Or you got this.
Oh, there's still an
There's
issue
a
after
couple
the
things we
changes.
can do. So First of all, we implemented a longer lasting PJ timer today from I think 8 seconds to 11 or 12 seconds.
I think it's 8 seconds now.
Is it 8 seconds now? It was 5 before.
Something
Like that. It's a longer PJ timer. So if you hit somebody, he goes up a ladder, you go up, he runs down, he's got gap, he's gone. That being said, if you have range, you stay in combat with him, you can still catch him. Or magic, of course. Magic is much more viable with today's update. We reduced the price of the Ancients tab, as well as put Third Age robes in the shop and Arams in the rare drop table. That's really the best way you're going to do it. However, if he just keeps on going up and down, that's really annoying. So we have a couple ideas here. There's a whole bunch of things. One of them is have the player lose a little bit of run energy each time, so escaping is going to be a little bit more difficult. Doesn't stop him going up and down, though. The other option is after a few minutes into the game, if you're in combat, you can't go up the ladder, meaning you can if you want to loot immediately, because you're going to go up there, get your chest, but get back down there because eventually, if somebody attacks you, you won't be able to run up there. I like that one personally. Yeah, there's a few different options there. So those are the key issues.
When does the fog hit upstairs?
When it gets to
the
that
edge of the
place.
map, yeah.
So it's the
okay.
same as the lower level.
We'd have to make sure that doesn't count as being in combat when going up a down a ladder.
They like the second idea. I like the second idea.
That should be possible.
Okay. So we can do that after, say, 3 minutes into the game. If you're in combat, you can't go up a ladder.
Yeah,
Nice.
depends. Actually, I don't think it could be used for griefing. We just have to think ahead with these
No,
things.
because if I was to hit somebody and then I wanted to go up the ladder, I'm still in combat because I hit him as well. So
We'd have to make them to be able to go down a ladder as well, probably, wouldn't we? Instead of not block both ways, but only going up.
well, I mean, it'd be after a few minutes. So the only reason you're going to be up a ladder after a few minutes, because all the chests will have been looted 100% for certain, would be to hide. And if you're trying to hide and you get caught, that's the game mode. You're dead. Who happened? I don't know what. Okay, whatever. Next question. Last man standing stuff out of the way. Let's go. Where should we jump to? Man, we're running out of time. I'll get through a few more questions and I'll head over to Mod Ghost. Okay. I'll Own says, can Purdue get a right-click repair option?
I think we just launched the ability to use an item on him and have him repair all of them at once without you having to do any more clicking or going through dialogue, which should mean that it's a lot easier than it was perhaps when the question was written.
Yep, that makes a lot more
I
sense.
think that solves the issue, to be honest.
I just borrowed my code from the Barrows repair.
Oh, this is really tough. There's a lot of really good questions. Rune Mystery, a little clarification he's asking for here with the Blast Furnace update. Says, after you've paid the 60k for Blast Furnace Dwarves, will they continue working for 60 minutes even after you leave?
Yeah,
I imagine yes.
I would
If
imagine,
there's
yeah.
money in there, they will go.
Okay.
And they will eat it.
I mean, it works per cycle. You don't pay for an hour and then lose the full hour. You could, but it would be per cycle. If you put in 10k, they'll go for 10k worth of cycles.
Okay. Jason has a few ideas possibly for the upcoming Dragon Plate body. So just a few ideas here. Damage reduction from unavoidable KBD Dragon Fire. Very niche use, would only really be useful at the KBD, but there you go.
Not exactly the hardest boss in the game.
Yeah. Anti-Dragon Shield effect.
Oof.
You could bring a defender to dragons. Makes attacks against
I
dragons
actually
more
like that.
accurate. Offensive/defensive bonus against the White Dragon Raids boss. Dragonfire could charge it for better stats. Unique set effect. I wish we could do this. Tell me we can do this.
What is the set
A
effect?
dragon set effect.
Unique set effect wielding full dragon with the full helmet and plate body and defender.
While we
Or
can detect
square
that,
shield,
what
actually.
would it do when they've got it?
I don't know.
Well, that's not very
Nobody
helpful.
uses full
Whether
dragon.
we
It's the
can do
coolest
it
looking
or not.
armor.
Give them full dragon and they'll turn into One Punch Man or something.
We can make something happen if they are in combat with that stuff.
These streams
Something
really do
happens.
drag on sometimes.
Don't
Do you want to leave now? Leave now?
We just made everybody leave. All right, Mod Ghost is having some technical difficulties. That's fine.
Apparently
I've
we're
got
restarting
tons
Mod
of
Ghost.
questions. Okay. Let me just see where we are here. 2 says, can you allow the use of an extra dragon axe to allow a higher rate of burning logs with the infernal axe?
What was that?
So what would it do? Like, give it a second axe and it becomes a
higher rate.
better infernal axe.
Yes.
Oh, I thought they were like having an axe in each hand. I thought
Yeah,
that's
I
what
thought
you
they were
meant.
saying have it like
What?
in your invent while you're doing something.
Offhand axe. That'd be interesting.
What about, well, you know what we've done with the tentacle whips where you can put two together to double the charges?
Yes.
Perhaps about thinking about doing something like that with dragon axes as well.
Only becomes a kind of uber axe.
Yes.
Well, it doubles the charges and then perhaps gives a slight increase.
The main reason here you can probably understand is an Iron Man maybe has multiple dragon axes, nothing to do with all of them. This will at least give them a use.
Yeah, we certainly can.
Yeah.
The woodcutting code's fairly well centralised, so it's not that hard to install a new axe type, which is what this would become.
I can't imagine many other people doing that. I wouldn't use my dragon axes for that. Anyway, all right, next question. El Chapo says, will this Deadman seasonal stats transfer over to the tournament, but the items won't? I don't think that's
current
something
one
we
will
definitely
not
had
do that.
planned, but it's an idea that I kind of like.
I think it would be a little unfair to suddenly turn that into the rule several weeks in without having said it in advance.
Yeah.
Whereas using it as the idea for a future shorter season is entirely fair and worth considering.
Yeah, I like that. So you wouldn't have to regrind for the stats upon the final week of the Deadman tournament. You would only have to get the items back, so you'd be working for supplies and gear rather than training up combat stats again and all that. All right, cool. Next question. The Ivy says, the effect from anti-fire potions persist even through the Clan Wars portal, but anti-poison does not. Can potion effects not follow through the Clan Wars portal?
I think these are ones that we kind of address as they come up. So we can add it to the list of things that get reset when you go in.
I think potions that, well, certainly stat boost potions are cleared if no potions is enabled for that battle, but not otherwise. And we could do a lot more in that regard, or maybe make it happen regardless of whether potions are enabled for the battle or not.
I mean, yeah, I think so. I think the problem is obviously you've got limited inventory space, and allowing people to essentially have extra potions that they've already drunk before going in, then they don't need them in their inventory. So
Yeah.
I can see why people would like to get rid of it.
Yeah, it'd be like the jewel arena, I guess.
Some people are not too happy with that. It's a tough one. Thanks says, higher total level worlds. Comes up every week from the same group of people.
Matt, I think someone did address this slightly. I think it may have even been Ash that's mentioned something, saying that as the player base above a certain level gets bigger, then inevitably we will probably get them.
Yeah.
But for now, I don't know if there is enough to warrant that.
While there's probably enough that it would be a reasonably populated world, we don't have huge numbers of worlds. I mean, the number of worlds we've got is the number we were given in 2013 when no one knew how many people would ever want to play Old School, and they thought we'd probably die out in 6 months at the end of 2013, which we didn't.
This would be something we would pull, correct?
I assume we passively polled it, but yeah, we polled the
You
last
think so?
ones. We polled all the other ones.
I don't know. I mean, I see this maybe being something max players vote on, but others not so much.
Well, the thing is, I think also that it wouldn't be a bad thing to see maybe more worlds, like those Australian ones that are meant to be coming from the sysadmin team. They apparently said early August, but I have not heard an updated ETA from them.
Soon, TM.
Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid we have no further info on that one. It's not us, of course, in Australia connecting all the cables to them, so we can't give you very detailed info.
I want a meme of Ronan dressed like a cable engineer over in Australia.
With corks on his helmet. Anyway, so perhaps if we have more worlds, there'll be a little more scope to have more restricted worlds. Because at the moment, if we do a restricted world, it's taking away from everyone else. Whereas if there were more worlds coming, one of them being restricted would be a bit less expensive for them.
Would this require a new map flag, technical-wise?
Yeah.
That may be an issue.
You never know, there might be another one we could get rid of.
Okay.
But I'd understood the engine team knew how to expand that thing to allow more of these things in future. They just have to spend a fair while doing it. Oh, engine work.
All right. Let's go to this idea here from Sousa. This had a lot of upvotes saying, safe deposit box. Able to hold, say, 20 items and require no pin. But rather than a pin, it'll need a key. The key is set by the player and can be any item in all of RuneScape. It could be a bronze dagger. It could be a super attack potion.
Morning's End Part 2 colour wheel.
Yeah.
Well, as much as it sounds like a great idea, you end up in the situation where player support are going to have to deal with requests from thousands of players who've forgotten what their item is. And it's the same as passwords. Everyone forgets their password occasionally, and that's why we offer it as a service, because while we can say it's your own fault, ultimately it's going to happen, and I don't want to be in the situation where thousands of players end up unhappy because they forgot what that item was.
I said it had a lot of support. Sorry, because I was very surprised it had a lot of support. Personally, as a player, I definitely wouldn't touch this.
Is it real support? Are you sure?
Yeah, it was a very upvoted thread, man.
What is it they want it for?
Upvote.
Is it for the sake of not having to have a pin, or because they feel it would be safer than a pin?
Potentially being hacked is the question there. Really, just want to say again, get two-step on your email if you don't have it. That's easily the biggest reason people lose their accounts.
Have two-step on your email, get Authenticator in game, and a pin is also a good piece of security on top of all of that.
It's going to be awesome if they go and set the item that unlocks it to be a certain clue scroll that they then can't get again anytime soon.
I mean, if we were literally implementing it, it would have to be restrict it to tradable items only, because there's a lot of quest items you can never get back. And I would do it for below a certain GE value.
Think about it, all right? If you work really hard for a lot of items, are you going to put them in something that you're never going to touch? And then if you do get hacked, oh, well, at least I got these things. But for the time being that you play, which hopefully will be forever you don't get hacked, you're never going to see those items.
That's the thing. Are you going to?
It's odd for me, I don't know.
Apparently we've restarted Mod Ghost.
We did it. All right, we are ready to go over to a Raids sneak peek of the week.
Enjoy.
Hello, welcome to the Raids sneak peek of the week. We're just going to be looking at one of the Raids bosses today. I'm just going to run through the basic movements of this NPC here and just go over details like its size as well. So if I show the floor, what this shows us is an individual tile in our world where your player fills or occupies. So this thing is very large, you can see. If I just turn off or turn on the odd floor set, so that shows us that this is actually a 5x5 NPC. Now, next thing, how does this thing move? The cool thing about this is it's got a very intricate body underneath here, and the wings actually cover it like a proper beetle. So we can actually see those wings open up now, if I just scrub through this. There we go. Oh, I just turn it into orthographic view. There we go. It just behaves a bit funny if it's in perspective view. So I'll just do that again. I'll reverse it down, and we'll open up. Cool, so that's what it's going to look like when it's flying. It'll also be able to do ground attacks on you as well. But I can't go into any more of the mechanics, so we'll probably just have to leave it there. I can show you the skeleton as well. So you can see there's lots of points on this that can be manipulated, so we can get some great animations in as well. So yeah, hopefully you're all happy with that. I'm going to open up the second boss as well. Have we got time for one more boss still? Yeah, we're happy with that, okay. Cool, I'll just close this down. And let's open up boss number 2. Okay. Oh, it's thinking about it. Oh, it's frozen. That's great, isn't it?
Restart Mod Ghost.
Oh. Well, at least you got to see one boss, and we can show you it next week maybe. I don't think we'll want to sit here looking at a frozen screen. We'll give it a few more seconds, but I think... Yep, I think that's the lot. You got to see one. So next week we've got the first in the Let's Designs Airstream. That'll be starting at 12 o'clock PM, and that's Greenwich Mean Time, and that'll continue until 8 o'clock PM. We'll be taking a break, of course, for the 5 PM Q&A with the developers, but we'll be having a sneak peek then as well, so you can see how we're getting on if that's all you're going to be tuning into. That's me done. Back over the couch. Thank you very much.
Well, look forward to seeing that next week, obviously, of course, with the Let's Designs Day art stream as well. That's going to be a massive stream. You guys definitely won't want to miss that. That being said, in addition, RuneFest is only a month and a little bit away. I think. And we still surprisingly have a little bit of tickets left. So if you guys would like to go to RuneFest, shameless plug, it's definitely worth it. You get to meet all of us, some of your favorite streamers and influencers. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to be doing a last man standing tournament. I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to have people put up against each other. We're going to have a LAN set up with 25 PCs. People are going to fight each other in last man standing all day long. And we're going to take the winners from each game, put them all against each other in the final round, and they're going to win something really cool. That's, of course, all going to be live streamed, so cool. That being said, I don't think we have anything else to say. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Give the stream a follow, YouTube video a like. See you next time. Bye.
See ya.